Hello everyone, Connor Whitmore. I'm here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and it's time for the third of 4 decade-end videos on the channel as I look back at the best of the 2010s in bass music. And today I'm going to be giving you my top 100 singles of the decade. Now I have to be real here, this video was very hard to make. It sounds obvious, but there are just so many more singles and originals, of course, than anything else in music, any other kind of project. You think about the amount of EPs and albums there have been, and you have to go through and remind yourself of every single track within them. I can't lie, I've gone a bit mad. So I think more than ever, don't hang too much on the placement of these tunes, especially from number 100 to number 31, honourable mentions included. It was so hard, but having said that, I do love the list I've made and I'm excited to show it to all of you. Whether it be dubstep, trap, house, drum and bass, complextro, jungle terror, whatever, if it's bass music, if it's dark electronic music, it's considered for this video. Couple of things to note here before we get going. I've been finding bass music since around 2010 or so, but only really properly researching it since 2013 or 14, mostly dubstep as well over that stretch of time. There are probably a load of really fantastic originals I'm missing out on, having never heard them. My list, I think, is comprehensive, but I'm sure there are far more that I won't have heard before. So yeah, drop them in the comments below, any that you think I will have missed out. Each artist or producer can have a maximum of 4 originals on the list. Each one has to be at least 2 minutes long, and they don't have to have had an official release. From 100 to 31, I will be providing clips with artwork and music, and then talking for the remaining 30 with music playing underneath that. There will be a playlist in the description with them all in order, including the honourable mentions, which will be listed in alphabetical order by way of artist name. So many genuinely incredible songs I've had to leave out here. Now, I'm not saying these are the definitive best 100 of the decade in bass music. They're merely my favourites, the ones I've enjoyed most over the course of the 2010s, so remember that before watching, and be sure to give your thoughts on my list once the video is over, but also drop your favourite originals and singles of the decade in the comments down below. I want to hear them all. Quick little reminder as well that I've already done my top remixes and my top EPs of the decade. Yep, done them in the last week or so. Once we're done here, you can go and check them out if you are yet to. And so here we go, my top 100 singles in bass music over the last decade. I still can't quite believe that I'm making this video when you think about how long 10 years has been, all the way back from 2010, and this is the absolute pinnacle of my appreciation for this kind of music. Starting with number 100, I shall see all of you in a bit.
Mightiest heroes. Shoebox for holding all this cash. Curry. Live fire. With that hard street shit. Excited eyes.
Check it out.
Take this.
Do it now. Come on. Here we go.
Okay. With our lives. Let me come again. Take it back to the wild, 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 wild. Shave it.
Full speed in the lane, still getting it.
That rhythm.
When the baseline drop.
When the baseline drop. Baseline drop. It's upon them program.
Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it, 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 DJ turn it. 600 years.
Like they rose from the dead again. Such force move straight through the head again. Blessed are the children of men who saw that sword strike less than the pen. Surfacing from primordial waters, we are the sons and daughters of walkers. Take your pretense to the slaughter, leave adversaries hung drawn in quarters.
It's okay.
Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope you enjoyed 100 to 31. And now, coming in at number 30, we have Porter Robinson with Fellow Feeling. His darkest, gloomiest tune, I think. Stunning but with a real menace beneath it. Properly dystopian, almost bipolar in its delivery. Unleashed more so by the warning vocal samples, I think. It's just a very accomplished song. At number 29, we have Sudden Death with Castles. Quite the meteoric rise this man has gone through over the last couple of years or so. This tune for me best encapsulates that, the most complete for me from him in terms of a mix of idea and execution. and I think when you realise just how much good material he's put out in that time, it really does say it all. At number 28 we have Barely Alive with Rifle Blow Kiss, a properly large bouncy bop of a tune right here. I love the way it bounds along, stacked with a wealth of different vintage Barely Alive sounds on show, a great vocal as well layered on top. The right mix of fun and ferocious, I think. At number 27, Zomboy Brain Dead, his best experiment for me, a jumpy, gruesome delve into glitch hop, which I think for what it is, just gets everything right, how everything rebounds off each other, delivered in his way as well, lest we forget. Yeah, it's just very, very good. At number 26, we have Schism with Like This featuring Virus Syndicate. The most significant solo tune, I think, from one of modern dubstep's most important figures. Very earthy, imposing drops, really aware of its progression and a sense of variety over the course of it. The unforgettable vocal as well from Virus Syndicate. Yeah, again, it's just really, really good. At number 25, Skrillex with Roughneck Full Flex. One of the best melodies in modern dubstep, one of the best vocal samples in modern dubstep, and some of the best screeches in modern dubstep. All iconic and all cohering well. One that I've grown to appreciate and love more over time. Number 24, Noisia The Entangled. My favourite from this legendary trio. The excellence of their craft, I think, most evident here. So intricate, well weighted, fluent, angled, nifty, sneaking into every nook and cranny that it can. Top notch. At number 23, we have Major Lazer and Flux Pavilion with Jano Partial. One of those time-stopping anthemic bangers, a larger-than-life appeal here, executed in a really powerful way. The sheer volume and colour of the drops as well. I've never stopped loving it. At number 22, we have Phase 1 with Welcome to Mayhem. One of the best mixtures of metal and dubstep I've ever heard. A very true combination of vocal and instrumental. Takes control of your body, relentlessly swinging you about, and I think that effect, knowing that effect that it has on me, I think shows you everything you need to know about how much I enjoy it. At number 21, Barely Alive again, this time with Deadlink. One of the most monstrous tunes I heard when I started properly getting into brostep music. The duo in their most raw form, I think, an amazing lead line, swampy robotic dubstep. I mean, really, what's not to love? Okay, number 20, we have Adair and Omega Mode with Revival. One of the most wacky, off-the-wall, ostentatious modern dubstep songs I've heard for sure. The spontaneity of it, I think, will leave you in amazement. Volcanic in its delivery, I would have to say. Melodically, really on point as well, uplifting and airy, soothing almost. Always taken down though by the brutality of the uninhibited, free-spirited brostep, which really is knockout stuff. Yeah, just so good. At number 19, we have Gem Shards by Must Die. A straight-up fantastic dubstep composition here in terms of the intro to the builds, the drops, midsection, etc. The transitioning between all of them. Very grand, super euphoric, but also very unforgiving and remorseless in the heaviest moments of it. It gives you an almighty and elevated feeling with all this life surging through it. I think probably the best introduction to a mostly dubstep album that I've heard. Yeah, little doubt about that. It is huge. At number 18, 80 Aliens with Witch Doctor. A vocal trap in its element here, I think. Something about the management of timing and space that I'll just never get enough of. The drama of that ritualistic vocal dancing over the sharp trap beat, it's just so well done. And I've loved it more with each listen, which I think is quite rare. Yeah, don't think there are many other tracks like it in that respect for me. It used to be my third favourite of 2018, but now it is my definite favourite of that year. One for respecting the attention to detail in note placement, I think. Yeah, it's expertly done. At number 17, we have Lectric and Autodidact with Alpha Dogs. One of the most inventive bass songs I've heard, using dog barks as the main sound in gnarly bass house. is quite the idea, and it could have gone wrong in so many ways, but I think it's executed brilliantly, front to back. The way the second drop deconstructs it as well in the stop-start jittery way, I just absolutely love it. Such a statement-making collection of sounds, and all very cleverly put together as well. Yep, it's masterful. At number 16, Zomboy Outbreak, a short but sweet, bursting at the seams, powerful, excitable, incisive dubstep banger here. Rare that you have such a compact tune, but it leaves such a big impression on you, and that is what we get here. A perfect way to snap the album of the same name back into focus following the extensive introduction of that LP. I love the more raspy delivery of the second drop. Armani Rain's vocal layers over it perfectly. Yeah, truly emphatic. At number 15, we have Zed's Dead and Omar Lynx with Out for Blood. The one track from this collaboration, and lest we forget, it's one that spawned many a tune that has everything for me: the mix of instrumentation, a constant impending sense of doom, brooding, and probably the best produced drops I've heard from the duo ever. The chemistry between producers and vocalist most evident here for me. So many memorable moments as well across the 5-minute runtime. My number one dubstep rap combo, and I've heard a lot of it, I'll tell you that much. At number 14, we have Kill the Noise with Kill the Noise Part 1. The best introduction I've heard in bass music, not a doubt in my mind on that one. Pure epic, the drawn out way that it's crafted, the musical aspect of it, building momentum with clamours of kill the noise. It is just pure epic, I don't think anyone can deny that. Comic book dubstep, I like to call it. When I hear it, I see it mapped out as a cartoon, as the human race tries to defeat the noise, the twisted, contorted, meaty dubstep being the battle between them. Yeah, just so much going for it. At number 13, Phase 1 with UFO. Heavy metal step, of course, being something we've all had our fair share of, both good and bad, but this would have to be it in its most riveting form. The way the heaviness drills through your head, leaving you in some sort of disoriented state, aided, of course, by the vocal sampling, which just takes it to another level. The way it's all cut, it just gets you right here. The moments of impact are on point, grungy, and readily creates an image of a UFO landing on Earth. It's so good. At number 12, we have Knife Party with Rage Valley. The one time they kept it pretty evil whilst also having Rob's vocal on top made for an incredible combination that we could have had more of, but I'm still very grateful to have had this one tune with him singing on it whilst they were at their peak. A Knife Party at their most frenetic and lively, like a series of lightning bolts or fireworks shooting off in all directions, and also laced with a bit of melancholy in the progressions as well to each drop, which just makes all in all for a great number. At number 11, we have Nero with Guilt, an incredible track because it does what it says on the tin. Not only through the vocal, but also musically, the chord progressions that we get, it makes you feel guilt, remorse, regret, a sense of pain sat at the very core of this tune. These huge crescendos, waves of rich sound continually crashing and overwhelming you, extremely rich and full of feeling, and a go-to track for me whenever I'm in need of a bit of firing up, but also when I'm feeling a bit down. So yeah, tells you how much it has going for it. It is mesmeric. Alright, breaking into the top 10, and at number 10, we have a song that is up there with the most well-measured songs in bass music I've heard. One where the progression is just so steady and laid out, all the sections existing alongside one another so nicely. That song is Falling Down by Sub Focus. The thing I love about Falling Down is that really, that vocal and that dubstep shouldn't be in the same tune, but he plays them off each other in such a captivating way, complementing each other so well across the stretch of it. The rhythm and flow of it as well, how it glides and swims along, dreamy and blissful, but also guttural and demonic in equal measure, never losing its pace at all as well, very constant feel to it. yeah, just hits such a sweet spot. At number 9, we have a tune that sets a scene, unlike few others I've heard. A very interesting combination of Western meets zombie apocalypse, and it produced one of modern dubstep's most impactful results, in my opinion. Survivors by Zomboy and Must Die. I just love the explosive feel of the heaviness, the more ravenous mutation for the second drop as well, the articulation of everything sonically, the little moments jumping out at you, really well assembled, and I remember travelling at the time of hearing it for the first time and being blown away by it, and from there being like, okay, I'm gonna start researching everything properly and making it my life when I get back, and that really is how much of a mark it left on me. At number 8, we have the best blisteringly manic and wild bass tune I heard last decade and ever, and I've heard a fair few. One that opened my eyes and ears as to new ways dark electronic music could be produced. And that song is Pendulum with The Island Part 2, Dusk. As a development from Part 1, a very warm and nostalgic tune, I think it's pretty much perfect, taking very well from it and completely flipping it on its head, which is exactly what it's meant to do, right? A precursor, I think, also for what was to come with Knife Party, the most important track in that crossover, another level of exhilarating and dystopian that was created by them and which became great and played such an important role and part in the development of bass music in the 2010s. At number 7, we have a tune where you just can't help but marvel at the scope of it, the atmospheric, scenic approach that it takes, the way it unravels itself to you more and more over its course. It's wondrous, and that song is Scorpions by Nero. There is such an art in patiently constructed dubstep, that which really takes its time to show you its true colours. Every single decision made here by the duo is one I think that can't be questioned in my opinion. The peaks and troughs it goes through to make it an astounding listen. And my top pick from the Welcome Reality album, I find it to be a microcosm of it. The breadth and ambition, the design and theme, and I think, yeah, that is pretty much the highest praise I could give it. At number 6, we are getting there, another duo here, and the tune that best epitomised their seizure music approach. One to rattle throughout your mind and drive you insane in the best way possible, has you in its grasp, and difficult to tear yourself away from, I can't lie. Knife Party with Power Glove. Has some of my moments of the decade in bass music, no question. The dramatic, colossal introduction, the super frightening, on-edge builds, the malformed robot belches in the progressions of each drop. Just so good. An absolute thriller, like something from a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the first Narnia film, but there's a moment where the camera goes over the top in the final battle, and the animals are all about to go to battle, and there's like a moment of silence. Yeah, that's how I perceive each build here. I don't find many other tunes as enthralling. The mighty feeling it inspires in you, pretty much unrivaled over the last decade. And yeah, that just really says it all. At number 5, my number 1 from the GOAT. The man without whom I simply wouldn't be here right now, sitting in this chair, making this video, doing this channel generally, or my interest in it altogether. This music. But yeah, you know who it is. It's Skrillex and his tune, Reptile. No other tune from Mr. Sonny Moore makes me feel this kind of power, the ridiculously heavy movement and swaggering delivery of it, motoring along from underneath. It just makes you want to pick something up and volley it as far as you can. Very genuine in its direction also, like no other from him. Nothing out of place as well. It knows what it's good for and just supplies one hit after another of that beastly, chugging, thick 110 BPM sound. And I will never ever forget being in the car with 2 of my best friends and one of their dads, and bouncing in the car to this song so hard when we heard it that we had to stop the car because it was bouncing up and down like that too much. Very, very funny, but we held up traffic for 2 or 3 minutes or so. I suppose that just tells you all about how gargantuan a number it is. It's just so brilliant. At number 4, oftentimes we need a good sense of the epic in dubstep, something I think missing a lot today and which we have touched on already here. Properly drawn out tunes that tell a story and paint a picture over their course, and the best version or kind or song of that ilk for me, Zomboy with Immunity. I love it for the image it puts in your head. A guy from the future fighting off zombies with these massive laser-fueled guns, obliterating everything in his path, his journey through that. It's kind of like you're living it with him, alongside him, as he does all of that. Really, really cool. The awareness over the course of the song, the best kind of repetition from one half to another, touches added in, taken away, that feeling of endurance and development. It just hooks you right in. Some of the most defined, savage modern dubstep I've heard as well, and comes at a perfect point in the Outbreak album, just before the end. A special tune, my favourite from Zomboy, which really is saying something. Okay, number 3, my outright favourite from one of the best producers in modern bass music, no doubt. Doesn't get recognised much amongst his best, which I find a bit weird, because for me, it's completely stunning from front to back, and that producer is Space Laces, and the tune is Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of talk at the moment about cry banging, which is the idea of a tune that's both heavy enough to headbang to, but also emotional enough to make you cry, and this one is the absolute pinnacle of that for me. Very pure, electrifying, glowing, the melodies swimming through your mind, making the heart ache, proper, full, rich, devilish bass of different kinds, and the way he switches between them and blends them, it's just off the chart. A mind-melting musical ride to the point where you feel exhausted by the end of it, physically and emotionally. Very heroic feeling to it as well, journeying along, battling these robotic overlords. Yeah, one of those that's just insanely good and definitely deserving of a top 3 spot for me. At number 2! Number 2! Not easy to have melancholic emotion shine through in a yoy-filled dubstep tune, but this track does that right here, meshing all the elements together really effectively along the way. A tune that I have loved for many, many years now, and which I think I hold very close to my heart. One that I feel is like a friend to me. That's how close I feel to it. Yeah, emotionally very close with it. That song is The Final Cut by 501. Yeah, it's seldom that you feel properly reflective in a heavy dubstep song, but The Final Cut gets that mix of heartfelt and bellowing just about right. Difficult to know what avenue of enjoyment to go down with it, and even after what must have been a couple of hundred listens of it by now, I'm still not sure how exactly to appreciate it. You've just got to let it kind of wash over you, I think, as a tune. The vocal is beautiful, the somber and defeated tone of it, allowing the heaviness to surge through to try and pick it up. A beautiful relationship between them, the instrumental and vocal, that I have never tired of in any way whatsoever. And, you know, I can sit here and say, well, one day 501 has to come back, but really, I think he gave us enough. Especially when we're talking about timeless tunes like this one. I doubt I'll ever be moved by dubstep in this way ever again. But coming in at number 1, numero uno, my favourite original in bass music, not only of the last decade, but also ever. Because don't forget, I started listening to this music in 2010. The most unique song here. Unlike others I've been talking about, I've never heard anything even remotely like it, and I'm sure I won't hear anything like it ever going forward. Yeah, completely unique and standalone, if you will. A song I have not stopped loving, and most of you will know what it is by this point. It's become something of a meme on my channel, the amount that I love it. Boot Camp by The Frim. I really do mean it when I say I love it, you know, properly, wholeheartedly, genuinely, truthfully. I get the same amount of good feeling from it every time I hear it. It comes up a lot on my phone when I'm shuffling and whatnot, and I've never skipped it. I never want to. I never want to gloss over the goodness that it provides and offers. It always delivers for me. Words can't really do justice for how much it does, how far it reaches. Like an incredible collage of different moods, ideas, types of energy, and still so together and well packaged. The range of influences, sounds on show, the different directions it takes you off in. A true roller coaster whirlwind of emotions, uncontainable, eccentric, and maddening in the most controlled way. And again, you know, going off what I've just said there, I don't think you can find, if any, songs that do that in such an effective way. Perhaps most importantly also reminds us not to take dubstep music too seriously. The balance between savagery and comedy is unlike any other I've ever heard, no question. Timing and placement of everything incredible, and I really could go on, as you can probably hear. I made a video a couple of years ago about how I thought it was the best song in modern dubstep, and my view hasn't changed. If you want to hear more from me on why I love this song, then definitely check that video out. I'll link it somewhere here. But until then, yep, I just do have to leave it at that. Miling Away, and undoubtedly my favourite song, original in bass music. Yeah, no question, no doubt, I do absolutely love it. And so, there we have it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Whether you watched the whole thing, skipped through it, watched parts of it, whatever. I spent so long putting this one together. So much brain power was needed to do so, and I just really hope that you did enjoy it. But now, of course, you have seen my list, and now it's time for everyone to start discussing. What did you make of my list, but also what are your favourite originals, singles, whatever you want to call them, from the 2010s in bass music? I want to hear them all. Drop them in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell along the way if you are yet to. My social media accounts are linked in the description box down below. And next to my head here, you should be able to find the EPs and remixes of the decade videos, which I did in the last week or so. Definitely recommend checking them out as well. Oh yeah, and albums of the decade to come at some point next week. Watch out for that. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know, guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And here's to more amazing bass originals coming out in the next decade, in the roaring 20s. I'm sure there will be plenty. I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.